It is time for some real education. Today, it's the Obelisco Piazza San Pietro Città del Vaticano, aka the Vatican Obelisk in St. Peter's Square. An obelisk is a stone pillar set up as a monument or a landmark. Obelisks usually have a square rectangular cross section and a pyramidal top set up as a monument or landmark. The famous obelisk found in the vast courtyard of St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome was brought to Rome from Alexandria, Egypt in 37 AD. In 1586, Pope Sixtus V moved it to its current position before the cathedral, where it has stood as a beacon for tourists and the faithful ever since.
And take a look at this beautiful obelisk. And people ask all the question all the time. It's right in the middle of St. Peter's Square there, of the oval really. And what you see there, you can see it. There's the Vatican right behind it. There's St. Peter's Dome, which Michelangelo helped to erect. And there you have the obelisk. And there you see it again. It's just a huge thing. And people ask the question all the time, why would you have a pagan item like this in the middle of a Roman Catholic, the holiest site of Roman Catholicism? And the answer, I think, is because think about what that means. That obelisk was actually, it's about 84 feet tall. It's huge, made of red granite. The Emperor Augustus Caesar, it was erected in Heliopolis. And you ask yourself, the engineering feats of the Egyptians. The Egyptians managed to stand that huge thing up without cranes. And so the Emperor Augustus Caesar, he actually had it moved from Heliopolis to Alexandria, Egypt, where it stood until about 37 AD, when Caligula, the crazy Caligula, mad Caligula, liked it so much he had it dragged all the way back to Rome. And you imagine putting that thing on barges, right? Jeez. You had to take it down without breaking it, and then it took thousands of horses and men pushing it. Then you got to get it on barges and sail it across the sea. And it ultimately was set in the one of the forums in Rome by Caligula. He put it in the circuit, what would come to be known as the Circus of Nero. It was moved to its current site in 1586 by the engineer Domenico Fontana under the direction of Pope Sixtus V. So in 1586, this was moved back to the center of what would become Vatican, the Ovato Tondo. Go back to one of those pictures, Mike. Right there, you can't see it. Right out in front of all of that is a big oval. The Ovato Tondo, which means in Italian, the round oval, is a big oval space. And at the center of that oval space is that obelisk. And it was, again, a huge project for them to be able to take that obelisk and to stand it erect. And it's really an object of remarkable beauty when you look at it. It is very sleek, and you go back to answering my question there. You take the picture on the left there. You can see it's on its platform. There it sits, and at the very top you have a cross. That was placed there much later. Initially, all through the Middle Ages, when it was in Rome, one of the ruins of Rome, there was a metal ball at the top of the obelisk, and they actually believed that the ashes of Julius Caesar were contained inside. Turns out that when they finally took that ball down, there was nothing but dust in it. But that begs the question: aren't ashes dust? Right?
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Nevertheless, the ball was removed from the top of the obelisk and placed in an Italian museum, and the cross that you see there now is in place. And one of the interesting things about this, too, is it's the only obelisk left standing in Rome.
Ooh.
I mean, there are hundreds of obelisks all across the world. The Egyptians used them, like they did everything else, for spectacle. But this is the only one that is not toppled in Rome. And I'll say this, too, to answer the question once and for all. Think about what this means. You have, by the time this was put up in 1586, you had 1,500 years of Christian culture. And right before that, you had 1,500 years of Roman culture. And before that, you had 3,000 years of Egyptian culture, right? And all of it's there in that beautiful obelisk, right? So what a continuity. That obelisk in the middle of St. Peter's Square is a testament to the endurance of Western culture.